Actually, it's been asked from the office of my mom. So can I get it?
Can you please put this question? You can check with support team. I'm not sure about it, so I don't want to comment on that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
What topic we will cover in this session today?
So today we are going to solve some problems from week 1.
Okay, ma'am. So we can ask about our doubts.
Yeah, you can ask your doubt. So I will present few set of questions to you, and we will
Yeah.
have to answer your questions there. I'll
Okay.
share my screen now.
Ma'am, if
Uh,
I have any conceptual doubts, can I ask you here?
yeah, later, like when we are solving the question.
Yes.
Basically, it is a practice session.
Yeah, it is a practice session.
Okay.
Okay, good morning all. So I am Nikita and I will be taking the solve with us session for today for week 1.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. So what we will do today is you have to go to joinpd.com, open your laptop or mobile, whatever you have.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening all. So please search joinpd.com. Go to peer deck. Go to peer deck and just use this code. Once you have opened peer deck,
There's some
you will
which
have
code
to-
we have to
Ma'am,
enter
which
there?
code?
you can see the code on the top of the screen, right? SKYYPA. I will also put in the chat box. I'll paste the link.
Ma'am, we have to put a space between sky and YPA.
Yes, you have to type there. You have to type there. I will just paste the link over here. Just so go to this link. I have pasted in the chat box.
So, ma'am, it is asking for sign in.
Yeah, you have to sign in using your student ID or any
with
ID.
with the email ID from which we registered in the course.
Yes. So once you have opened it and type this code, please put your just give hand raise. Okay, don't say anything. Just give hand raise that you have joined. Like you can already say 51, 52 students connected over here.
Ma'am.
It is showing some slides here, ma'am, basically.
Sorry.
It is, ma'am, it is showing some slides here, basically, like ma'am, some 28 slides.
Yeah, but you
Slide.
can see the first slide, right?
Yeah, ma'am, it's written statistics for data science 1.
Yes. So
Okay.
I will start the
Yes,
class now and I will walk you through the process, what you have to do.
Okay.
So is it the doubt session or the class?
It is the class
Normal
because we will do the problems. So whatever topics you have learned in week 1, we are going to solve some problems on that.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, on the slide, there is written week 1 solve with instructor, and in bracket, there is written graded. What it means, ma'am?
So graded means like you have the questions coming from like the kind of questions that you have seen in graded assignment. It will be more like the similar type of questions. So just to give you a practice on like how do you solve those questions.
Okay.
So
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hello.
yes,
Ma'am, I have a query. Like, can you solve it out?
we'll do it later. Please go with the slides.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. I'll move to the next one. So there are some set of instructions. So keep a notebook and a pen ready for you to solve the problems. And since it is week 1, most probably you won't have any calculative things. So, but still just to write it down, it's better to keep a notebook and pen ready with you. And as I said before, I had also given you the link to join this session, or you can also go to Peer Deck and just type the code that is given over here on the right top corner of the screen. You can
Hello,
see.
ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am.
Please don't speak in between. You can raise your hand if you have any doubt.
Ma'am, actually I joined late, so I don't know about anything. What is happening?
Yeah, I'm going to repeat it again. Okay.
Okay.
So if you have, I'm going to mute you all. So if you have anything to say, you just raise your hand and then you can ask a question. Okay. So what you have to do is, I will paste the link again. Can someone paste the link that I had pasted before? So go to Peer Deck. So all those who have joined just now, please go to peerdeck.com and use the code that you can see on the right hand top corner of the screen, right? You can see SKYYPA. So go to Peer Deck and use this code. You will be able to see this screen that I'm sharing currently. Okay. And before we proceed, all those people who have raised their hands, can you lower your hand if you don't have any doubt? Okay. So some questions. So on each slide, you will be presented first a small theory of what is there and what is going to come in the next question. And for each question, I'm going to allot you some 5 minutes. 10 minutes, it's not required here because it's a theoretical week. So I will allot you some 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. And you have to, you should try to solve the question in that duration, and you will be asked to enter the answers. So if it's an MCQ question, you have to select the options, whatever your answer is, and keep it with you. Later, I will show you the correct answer and we'll discuss like what the solution is for the question. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is how it is going to look like. Let's say there is some question on the screen. And the question asks, is this function, the first option is even, the second option is odd, or the third option is neither even nor odd. So on the right hand side, this is what you will see. You will see even, odd, neither even nor odd as a 3 options. Okay. And you can mark your option, whatever you think is the right answer for this question. And whatever you will put, that will get recorded, and I can later discuss. This is the desktop view, and for the people who have joined in mobile, this is what you will see. Okay.
What is the code?
Code is SKYYPA. You can see it on the right top right hand side. SKYYPA. Use this code.
Ma'am, how to join?
Go to peerdeck.com and use this code. SKYYPA. Use this code.
Ma'am, where to go?
Did you go to peerdeck.com?
Where is the peer.com, ma'am?
You have to Google.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
can you spell that?
You can find
PEAR.
in the chat box.
Join.
Link is
Join.
there.
Yeah.
Joinp.com. Search joinp.com.
Many students pasted the link in the chat box. You can go
Yeah, please take the link from the chat box.
And there are three options showing, one for sign up, second is for join session, and third one is
Please don't put WhatsApp link over here. Okay.
So ma'am, if we answer the question here, so it will be added in our graded assignment.
No, it will not be added to your graded assignment. I mean, the kind of questions we are going to do today, it's very similar to what you have to do in graded assignment. Okay, is the kind of questions are very similar.
Okay, ma'am.
So it's more like practice for you. You do this, then this will help you in solving the graded assignment. Okay. All right. So I'll move to the next slide now.
Yeah.
Okay. So so all those people who have joined late, please look for the link over here, SKYYPA, and go to joinpd.com and type this code. You should be able to see the screen. Okay. So now we'll start. So first we'll start with population and sample. So what is population? Population. Okay, I'm going to move. Okay. So
hello.
Please keep yourself muted. Okay. So what is population?
एक बार कोड बता दो जरा. अब वो अपनी उसका आईडी का ना.
Yes, KYPAY है.
मैम म्यूट एवरीवन. एंटर रुक जाओ. @ आप बता. मैम क्लास चलिए @
Okay. All right. So what is a population? So population is a collection of all the elements that we are interested in. Like, let's say, for example, it is given here, all the students in India who have cleared class 10 examination. Okay. Let's say I'm interested in finding out like what is the average score students have received in their class 10 examination. Okay. So what my interest is? My interest is that I want to look at the class 10 examination scores. Okay, so that is going to be in population. And to study that, like for us, it is not possible to go ahead and take each and every students and look at their scores and then find the average, right? So that is why we have something called a sample. So what is a sample? The second question is what a sample is. So sample is a subset of your population. Okay, you would have seen it earlier. I'm just going to revise the brief. I'm just going to give a brief introduction. So sample will be just a subset of the population, and the sample is what you are going to study in detail to know more about the population. Okay, and when we say sample is a subset of the population, it means we want the sample to be as good as possible, right? I mean, you want your sample to represent your population properly, and all the characteristic that that a population we think has, a sample, your sample should represent it, right? For example, I can take a sample as Tamil Nadu students who have cleared class 10 examination. right? 20 students are randomly selected from each state who have cleared class 10 examination. So like for my first example that I gave, so the example I gave is, let's say I'm interested in finding out whether all the students who are there in who have cleared class 10 examination, I want to know more about those students, their scores, right? So but it is not possible for us to go ahead and ask each and every student. So what we do is so my second example that we have given here for the sample, it says I'm going to select 20 students randomly from each state who have cleared class 10 examination. So in a way, I would not say it's a very great example, but at least it satisfies both the properties, right? I mean, it is first of all a subset of the population, right? I mean, your subset was your population was all the students who have cleared class 10 examination in India. Okay, and your sample should follow two characteristics. One is it should be a subset of the population. So in this case, yes, it is a subset of the population. Like in the first example, I have taken only Tamil Nadu students, right? But when we take Tamil Nadu students, it is kind of biased. It is not representing the whole population of India. The whole population of India as in like a whole population who has written the class 10 examination. But in the second example that we have taken, that says 20 students are randomly selected from each state who have cleared class 10 examination. So what we are doing here is, in the second example also, you are selecting a sample, and its sample is a subgroup or a subset of the population, right? And but in this case, I am not collecting the sample only from one state. In this case, I'm going to every state and picking 20 students who have cleared class 10 examination. So in a sense, this is a good representation, right? I mean, it is not biased to something, it is a good representation. So this is what we understand by population and a sample. I'll just look at the chart if there is any question. Okay, now I see there are no questions. So also, if you feel you have any doubt in between, please put it in the chat box. Okay. If it is related to what we just discussed, yes, Sagar, you have any doubt in what we discussed in population sample? No, okay. Saket, you have any doubt in what we just discussed? What is a good sample? Okay. Can sample be equal to population? Yes, the first example is a bad representative. Yes. So I got the idea what your doubt is. So yes, the first sample that we have taken is a bad representative. It is indeed a subset, but it is a bad representative. So we will not take such samples because it is not a good representation of your whole population. All right. So let's move to the first question that we have for today. And please do not write your answer in the chat box. All right. So you will, in the next slide, you will see a section where you have to put your answer. Please write your answer in peer deck itself and not in the chat box. Okay. So this is the first question. The question is 400 freshmen are randomly selected from all the departments at Delhi University. So all of you who doesn't know what freshman is, so freshman is someone who has just joined the college after school. Okay, so the first year students of college. So what the question is that we are selecting 400 freshmen randomly from all the departments at Delhi University. And what is a survey? The survey is that I want to determine, or we want to determine the average score obtained by freshmen of Delhi University in high school, right? So the question is, what is the population? I will repeat the question again. So we are interested in a survey where we want to determine the average score obtained by freshmen of Delhi University in high school, right? Freshmen of Delhi University means all the students who are enrolled in Delhi University. So what is the average score of their marks in their high school? Okay. And for this survey, we have collected a sample of 400 students randomly from all the departments. So if Delhi University has, let's say, a maths department, English department, a chemistry department, and so on. So we are collecting randomly from all the departments some 400 sample. Now you have to find out what is the population. You have 4 options given over here. So I'll set the timer and I'll set for 3 minutes. So after 3 minutes, it will no longer accept the answers. So please, whatever your answer is, please put in the peer deck. Do not put your answers in the chat box. How to give answer? You will have you will see on the right hand side there should be some options. Okay, if you feel the timer is 3 minutes is quite long, and from next question I will put 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, but please write your answer in the peer deck. Do not write your answer over here. So if you're using the mobile phone, you should be able to see something on the below of below. Okay. Okay, 1 minute, we'll go with 1 minute. You don't have to submit it. It catches on its own. Okay. Okay, time's up. So I'll show the options. Okay, I see most of the people have written answer as option C. Some as option A and some as option 2, and nobody has written answer 4. Okay, let's see. So here, what is the population, right? Let's move to the solution. So yeah, as we said, population is the entire collection of elements that we are interested in. So in our question, we were interested in looking at the marks of all the freshmen of Delhi University in their high school, right? So that is the population. So as you can see, the first option here is the 400 selected students, which is not right. This is kind of a sample for us. The second option is all students at Delhi University. So why this is wrong? This is wrong because we are not interested in the marks of all the students at Delhi University. We are interested in the marks of only the freshmen at Delhi University. Okay. So that is why option 2 is wrong and option 3 is right. And the fourth option is all freshmen at Delhi University Mathematics Department. So again, fourth option is wrong because we are not just interested in Mathematics Department, but we want all freshmen at Delhi University. Okay. So option C is right. Okay, Saket, I see a lot of hand raised from you. Can you tell me what is your doubt?
Yes, ma'am. This is Saket.
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. In my calendar, a stat 1 is showing, but I am a student of a stat 2. So is there any classes going on for the stat 2?
I guess yes. If you have, I'm not sure why is it happening for you. But these are operational doubts. Please do not put in between. Okay.
But ma'am, in my calendar, it is showing a stat 1, and when I am opening,
maybe you have added stats 1 calendar. It is possible.
which calendars, ma'am?
Maybe you have added stats 1 calendar and not stats 2.
Ma'am,
Please check once on the portal of stats 2.
Ma'am, I have not taken the stat 1.
Yeah, check your stats 2 portal. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Ashish. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, I will go to the next question now. Okay, so it's a continuation of from the first question. Again, the question is the same. It's the same. Like we are still interested in knowing the average score obtained by freshmen of Delhi University in high school, and we have selected the 400 freshmen randomly from all the departments at Delhi University. So you have to check. You have to tell me. You have to answer what is the sample. So I will just put it for 1 minute for this time. Okay, time's up. I'll just check. So, okay, most of the people have answered option A. So, yeah, this is the right answer. Is it the right answer? Where to answer? Now you can't answer because I've already closed it. Let's see. So, yeah. So what did we know? What did we study about samples? So samples should be a subset of the population and it should be representative of the population also. And in the question, you had the sample you had taken was the 400 freshmen of their university. So it is a set of 400 selected students, and yet option 1 is right. So, okay, good job. Most of you are giving the right answers. All right. Now the next question is the sample a good representative of the population? Again, I've set the timer for 1 minute. So please put your answers. Okay, let's see the answers. Okay, here I see a lot of people answering option B also, and many of you have answered option A. So, okay. So here, what is the sample that is being taken? The sample is the 400 freshmen from all the departments at Delhi University, right? And our goal was to determine the average score obtained by freshmen of Delhi University in high school, right? So in a way, like the 400 students that we have selected, it is a subset of your population, right? It is a subset of your population, and in fact, it is a good subset of the population. I mean, it is a representative of the population, right? So the answer here is yes. Yeah. So what does the solution say? It says the survey is to predict the average score obtained by freshmen of Delhi University in high school. And in this case, sample is collected in such a way that is, you have taken randomly the freshmen from all the departments of Delhi University. So it's not like you have picked one particular department and have taken the sample. You have made sure that you take all the departments, and from there you randomly collect a sample. So it is a good representative of the population. So the answer is yes. Okay, is my voice low? I could see, please be allowed. No, okay. All right, fine. All right, let's move to the next question now. So before we go to the next question, if any of you have any doubt in the sample population, you can put it in the chat box. No doubts till now. No issues, Arpit. You can go ahead. So 3 question doubt. Okay. Please explain the sample once again. I don't see any other question except explaining the samples. Okay, maybe the only question I see here is the sample part. So I'll just repeat it once and then we'll move to descriptive statistics. So, okay. So as I said, in this case, so let's take this setup. Okay. So let's look at the third line. Okay. The third line says a survey wants to determine the average score obtained by freshmen of Delhi University of high school in their high school. So all those people who are enrolled currently as a freshman in Delhi University, we want to know what was their scores, what was the average score of these students in their high school. So this is our goal. This is the survey. Okay. So this survey, and in this case, the population is like all the freshmen of Delhi University, because we are interested in their marks. Okay. This is the population. Now moving forward to the sample, we have collected 400 freshmen, and they are collected in such a way that you have covered all the departments of Delhi University. So if Delhi University has, let's say, some 50 departments, so you have made sure that you have covered all the departments, and you have randomly selected from all the department 400 freshmen. And from that sample, now you are going to determine or to figure out what is the average score. Okay, so that's why it's a good representation. First of all, it is a subset of the population, and also it is a good representation. So that is why my sample is 400 freshmen randomly selected from all department. Okay, I'll move to the next question now. So before moving to the next question, we have now descriptive statistics. Okay. You have studied two kinds of statistics. One is descriptive statistic and other is inferential statistics. So what do we do in this descriptive statistic is, so this part of the statistics is concerned more with describing and summarizing the data. So when we say describing and summarizing the data, it means, let's say you have some data with you. Let's say you all have been to school, and let's say the data that you have with you is, let's say, the marks of the students in your class in a particular test. Okay, that can be a data. So there was some exam that you wrote or some test that you wrote, and you know how much each and everyone in your class have received in the test. Okay, so that data you have, let's say. So now what you want is, you want to know more about this data. So know more about this data as in, like, what is the highest marks in the class, right? I mean, who scored the maximum? What is the highest marks? What is the average marks that was there in the class? I mean, what is the average marks that went in the class? So these are the things, small things, like knowing the minimum, knowing who all passed, knowing who all failed the test, who scored the maximum, what is the maximum marks, what is the minimum mark, what is the range of the marks, right? So there are various things that describes your data, and it also summarizes your data in a way. So this kind of this part of statistics, we call it as descriptive statistics, because whatever data you have, you just want to know more from there. You want to just describe the data and summarize it. Like you see various things. I mean, moving forward to week 2, week 3, week 4, you will look at descriptive statistics more deeply. You will study about various charts. You will study about mean, median, mode. So these are the things which you use to describe and summarize your data. So this is what called descriptive statistics. And we say it can be computed for both the sample and the population. So it depends, like even if your population, let's say, is very large, okay, so definitely you're not going to describe your data for the population. In that case, you would rather prefer to go ahead and collect a good sample and then describe your data, and in such and after that you will do something. So in this case, like if the population is very large, you rather would prefer to take a smaller sample. That is a good representation of your population, and you describe your sample rather than the population. Okay. And if you're, let's say, if your population is very small, like the example I gave before. So the example I gave before is like, let's say you have a class, and your class will not be like generally very large. It won't be at 1,000, 5,000. It will be small, max at 100, I would say, right? So it's a kind of small population. So you can do things. I mean, it's not so difficult to describe that data. So that is why we are saying you can perform descriptive statistics on both your sample and the population. Okay. So for example, average of marks obtained by students in class 10 in mathematics examination. So it is very similar to the example I gave you. So in this case, I mean, I said just a test. Now you are saying you're specifying class 10, and you're also specifying which examination, which is mathematics examination. So knowing the average marks that is obtained in a particular maths exam for class 10 student are describing the data where you're finding the average of marks. So it is a descriptive statistics. Next, we have inferential statistics. So what does inferential statistics mean? So this inferential statistics, this part of the statistics is more about like drawing conclusion from the data. Okay. So drawing conclusion from the data is like you have a population, and it is not possible for you to go ahead and look at each and every entity of the population. So like as we looked at in the previous example, where we were interested in knowing what is the average marks of the students of the students who are in currently first year in DU, like how much marks, what is the average score in their high school. So if you look, there are so many people who write the class 12th examination, and there are so many students who get into Delhi University. So, I mean, it is a kind of a big population you have. So getting to know like what should be the average score for all the students who are currently enrolled or currently admitted into the first year in DU, it is quite difficult to know their marks in 12th standard, right? So that is why what we did is we took a sample, right? And using the sample, now I am going to perform some inferential statistics. So when we say inferential statistics, it means we're looking at your sample, you want to draw some conclusion about your data or about your population. So this part of statistics is concerned with inferential statistics. For example, predicting or drawing conclusion about the average marks obtained by students of class 10 in mathematics examination from the data of marks of randomly selected student with the sample. So yeah, so again, it's the same thing. I mean, you will collect a sample and then you draw conclusion about the data. So this is what basically your inferential statistics is saying. So you do not worry currently about the inferential statistics. You are not going to deal more about this part of the statistics in this course. But as you move to stats 2 from stats 1, you are going to know more about inferential statistics, where you will perform various techniques and you will know what actually it is. But from here, for this course, for the purpose of this course, you just need to know the definition and just the terminologies. That's all. So I'll move to the next question. Okay, so the same question, and here the question is, what can you say about the nature of study? I'll put the timer for 1 minute. Time's up. So okay, I see a lot of answers. Okay, let's see what the answer is. Drawing conclusion comes from the data. Drawing conclusions from the data comes under inferential statistics. So I had already taken this example when I was talking about inferential statistics. So yeah, I think I'd already explained it earlier. So what we were doing, we were, let's see what all of you have answered first. Okay, indeed, most of you have answered option B, but a lot of you have also answered option A. So I will just explain this part once more, like why this is inferential and not descriptive. See, you are interested in, you are conducting a survey, okay, and the survey you want to, your goal is to find out what is the average score that the freshmen of Delhi University have in their high school, and for that purpose we randomly selected 400 students so that we get an idea of like you study the sample, and based on that you perform some inferential statistics and determine your conclusion about your population. Okay, so that is why it comes under the inferential statistics. Okay, let me look at the chat box. I see some questions. How to answer in poll. Okay, doubt vendor description. Okay, Uma. So when we, okay, I think it's confusing. It might be confusing for you currently, but as we move forward, right, as I said, inferential statistics is not something that you are going to cover in great detail in this course. But one thing that you have to just understand, that whenever you are trying to conclude something from your data, or you're trying to infer something from your data which is not explicitly given to you, right? I mean, this data is not explicitly given to you, and you have a population and you are trying to infer something about it. So in that case, it comes, so such kind of studies comes under inferential statistics. But when you are just interested in whatever data you have, you just want to describe it, right? Then that such kind of question comes under the descriptive statistics. How many total students are Currently. All right, let's move to the next question. So the third question, it says the data of students enrolled in BSc Data Science degree at, okay, so now it is no longer BSc, should be BS. So BS Data Science degree at IITM is collected and shown in the table given below. So there are few, in this table, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. One is for roll number, name, course, number of assignments that the student has submitted. What is the student's marks and what is the teacher's review? Okay, so we have collected the data for here 4 students. So the students' name are Ishan, Mayur, Prashant, and again Ishan. Their roll numbers are given, the course, what course they're enrolled in, how many assignments they have submitted, how much marks they have scored in percentage, and what is the review that teacher has given. So the first question is, what is the scale of measurement of a roll number? So I will lock the screen. Okay, time's up. So let's see what all of you have answered. Okay. So many of you are saying nominal, then ordinal, then interval, and some are saying ratio. So as I can see here, the majority of you have answered option A, and yes, it is the right answer. But option B, C, and D are not right. So why not? Let's see. So in the table, you see the roll number, name, course, number of assignments submitted, and teacher's review. And here the question is asking the scale of measurement for the roll number, right? So the roll number here is 157, 298, 306, 527. All right. Suppose suppose I give you, let's say you are in a class and you all would have some roll number in the class, right? But if you have a specific roll number, does that mean that you like one roll number is lesser than or in some way or greater than or in a way better or bad, something? It doesn't mean anything. It's not a comparison. The roll number is not a comparison, right? I mean, it is just a way to assign one number to a student in the class. So it doesn't have any order. I mean, many of you, I can understand the confusion over here. Like many of you may have seen that the roll number in a class are given in a way that whoever has come the first in the class, they're given roll number 1, then 2, then 3. But these roll numbers does not mean anything. It's just a label to the label that is given to you, right? So it doesn't come under the ordinal scale of measurement. Yeah. Because many of you have answered ordinal. So when do we say, even though it is a categorical data, first to identify the roll number is a categorical data. It is not a numerical data, even though there is a number associated with it. Okay. Because you cannot perform any operation, addition, subtraction, nothing you can perform. So first of all, the first thing that you have to understand that this roll number is a categorical data and not numerical data. So from there only your third and fourth option goes away, because these interval and the ratio scale of measurement comes for the numerical data. And it is not ordinal because there is no order associated with it here. So the scale of measurement that you have for roll number is nominal. Let me take the questions from the chat box. I hope I answered Uma, your question. Can you please say what scale of measurement is number of assignments submitted, marks, and teachers review? Okay, so this can be or maybe next question. Let's see what question do I have, but let's figure out first. Number of assignments submitted. Look at the fourth column. I think this is the next question. So I will go to the next question. Yeah, this is the next question. So please write your answers over here. Okay, let's see the answers now. Oh, this is okay. Okay, let's see. Do we have anything in chat? All right. So number of assignments submitted. If you look at the fourth column, you see that roll number 157 have submitted 3 assignments. Roll number 298 has submitted 1 assignment, and so on, 2 and 4 assignments. Okay. So the first thing to identify here is number of assignments submitted a numerical data or a categorical data? Can we have some answer in the chat box? Is it numerical data or categorical data? Number of assignments submitted. Numerical. Okay. Yes, it is a numerical data. I see most of you have put Almost all of you have put numerical. So from there, as you saw that, as most of you have put the kind of data is to be numerical. So you should not have answered the nominal and ordinal, first of all, okay? So it is not possible that your data is numerical and it will have a nominal and ordinal scale of measurement. So this you should keep in mind. So the first thing, from there only your first two option vanishes. I mean, it cannot come into the picture, nominal and ordinal data, right? Then the next question is, if it is a numerical data, which scale of measurement it is? So what is the difference between the ratio scale and interval scale of measurement? What is the difference between interval and ratio scale of measurement? Absolute zero. Yes. So see, I mean, both interval and the ratio scale of measurement have been taken into consideration for numerical data. And the only difference that they have is in ratio scale of measurement, we have the concept of absolute zero. When we say absolute zero, it means the zero there makes sense. I mean, makes sense as in that zero, if I'm saying number of assignments submitted is zero, it means it is complete zero. I mean, it doesn't have any ambiguity over there. I mean, it is complete zero. Like as in the case of, as in the examples that you have seen in your lectures. So where we talk about temperature being 0 degrees Celsius. So temperature is an entity where at 0 degrees Celsius, it doesn't say that it is, I mean, there is no temperature. It says there is a temperature which is 0 degrees Celsius, right? But when we take temperature in Kelvin, that 0 Kelvin actually means that there is no temperature over there. This is how it is defined. So even in this case, even number of assignments submitted, when I say some student, let's add one more person. Let's add here Nikita, okay? Let's say I'm enrolled in Stats 1 course and it says number of assignments submitted is 0. Okay. So I mean here 0 means that you have not submitted any assignment. Okay. So that is why it is under ratio scale of measurement. You can perform all the operations over here. You can compare, you can compare between the different students on the number of assignments. You can also multiply, you can also divide. So all that operations are possible over here, right? So that is why it comes under the ratio scale of measurement. So maybe you are saying Celsius scales also has absolute zero. No, it doesn't have. If there I say 0 degrees Celsius. So when we say absolute zero, it means if I write 0, that means it should mean complete 0. So when I say 0 degrees Celsius, it means the temperature should be negligible in that case, but it doesn't happen in case of degree Celsius. But this happens when I say 0 Kelvin, that happens in case of Kelvin. So that is why it is not there. Can we divide? Should be, I will, okay. Right now, I'm not going to unmute any of you. So once all the slides are done, we can have, if you have more doubts, I need more clarification, you can raise your hand later and I will unmute you and then you can ask a question. Can we divide Raleigh? And what is Raleigh? I don't know where is Raleigh is. J exam marks, interval scale. Let's just. Yes, there's so many questions here. Okay, I'll take, if you have any doubt later, I will take once the slides are done. Okay. So the correct answer for this question is the scale of measurement for number of assignments submitted is ratio scale. So the correct answer is option D. So the number of assignments submitted can have a meaningful interval. Also, it has an absolute 0. So it comes under the ratio scale of measurement. Right? Next question is, which of the collected data is unstructured? So you have collected the data as you have collected roll number, name, course, number of assignments submitted, marks, and teacher's review. So which among the following is unstructured data? Okay, all of you, please put your answers in peer deck. That is why we have given you the slides. Okay, so if you are using the mobile phone, if you open the peer deck and use this code, you will see this page, and at the bottom of the mobile, you will get an option to put in your answer. So please put it there if you are using the mobile phone, and if you are using it in laptop, you should get it on the right hand side. Okay, so let's see the answers now. Features review. Yeah. So as most of you have answered it, option C. Yes, it is the right answer. So I mean, okay, let me go there. So okay, the explanation I will read here. So what was unstructured data? So something that is not organized in a specific format, and it doesn't give you any meaningful information from whatever you have collected. Like in this case, you had collected teachers' review. I mean, teachers have given the reviews also for each and every student, right? But it doesn't mean, I mean, they are very vague, and I mean, it is not structured in a way, and we cannot really say anything. But let's say if the review was given in a way like some rating, or something on a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. So if that kind of reviews, maybe we can say it is kind of structured because we know where the teacher is putting the students onto. But here it's very subjective, and we cannot really write it properly, even though it can have a lot of words and numbers, but still it is quite unstructured. Yeah. We cannot calculate anything. Yeah. Okay, let's move to the next one. Which of the following is a case? I see a lot of questions in the chat. Yeah, please do not put your answers here. Okay. So let me see what all of you have answered. Okay, so clearly option C, D, and D are wrong. And what is the right answer between A and B? Because many of it's like almost very close, these two numbers are. So yeah. So what is the case? What is the case in our data set? So whenever you make a table, like for whoever or for whatever you are collecting the data for, that comes under the cases, right? Let's say in your lectures, you have seen some data collected on some cricketers, right? Some data collected on some students. So for whoever you are collecting the data for, or like whatever you are collecting the data for, that comes, I mean, that is called a case. So for in this example, you are collecting the data for these roll numbers. So in the class, you have these roll numbers and you want to know like roll number 157. What is its name? Which course the student is enrolled in? How many assignments are submitted? How much marks you have scored? And what is the review that teacher has given? Then you're also collecting the data for the roll number 298. So you're not collecting, you're not specifying the names here. I mean, you're not collecting for these students. You are collecting for, I mean, the data is being collected for these roll numbers. Yeah. So in this case, the case is 298. Okay, so the correct answer is option A. All right. We have maybe two more questions, 2 or 3 more questions. What kind of variable is marks? And please do not put your answer in the chat box. Okay, I'll come. Why not Mayur? Okay, because you are not collecting the data for Mayur, you are collecting the data for these roll numbers that is mentioned in the first column. Okay. Numerical and continuous, numerical and discrete, categorical. Okay. So it is clear that it is not a categorical data. It is a numerical data, but whether it is discrete data or it is a continuous data, that is what we need to check now. Yeah. So if you look at marks, it is 57.2, it is 65, 22.33, and 83. These are the marks that are given. And it is quite clear that it's a numerical data, not categorical. But what is a discrete? What is the difference between a discrete and a continuous data? Right? So discrete data is something that you can count, right? I mean, in this case, I think it is not mentioned here in the question, but okay. But we are talking about the marks that a student scored in a range of 1 to 100. Okay. So in a range of 1 to 100, it's a quite big interval, and it can take any value between. I mean, it can take any number in between 1 to 100, or to be more specific, 0 to 100. So what can be done is, it's a quite big interval. So we can split this interval. We can split this interval into many small intervals. Let's say in an interval of 10, 10, 10, we can split. And you see all of this, if the class size is quite high, you will see, like, if you take any interval, lot of values will come in for any specific interval, right? So I mean, it is not specific. I mean, it is not like it will take a particular this is not something which is discrete. I mean, now you're going to put it into form of interval because the range is quite big, and it's not easy to like check. I mean, it is not easy to quantify, to say. So such kind of data are called continuous data. So it is not a discrete random variable, it is a continuous random variable, because your range of interval is quite high here. Let's see the explanation. Marks in percentage can take almost any numerical value and can be meaningfully divided into smaller increments, including fractional and decimal values, right? So this is what I said. So you can split your interval, this interval 0 to 100, you can split in any small interval you want, and the marks can lie in any, and these marks have been calculated in percentages, so it can lie anywhere, right? It can take any range of values, it is possible. So it is a numerical and continuous variable and not a discrete variable. Okay, I see some question over here. Practically, the name would have existed even before the roll number. The roll number itself would have been allotted to the student. Isn't logical to assume the name as the cases? Yes, it is quite, I mean, your listening is correct. I will call you Tony. Okay. So, see, whatever is given basically in the first column, you consider it as a case. Okay, because for whoever you are collecting the data for, you generally put it in the first column, right? Because you can look at the first column and then you can look at, okay, for this person or for this roll number, in this case, I'm finding out, I'm looking at, I mean, this is all the data that I have collected. Like in this case, okay, this is the roll number. What is the name? What is the how much marks they have scored, how many courses they have selected, and so on. So these are just the terminologies. It's okay. As long as you understand what it means, it is all right. So cases are basically for whoever you are collecting the data for whatever the data has been collected. What is discrete? Any example of discrete? So any example of discrete is in, okay. So discrete variable you can take as number of days you have spent in finishing one assignment. Let's say you can take 1 day, you can take 2 days. So as long as you are able to count, right? I mean, something that is countable, that you call it discrete random variable, discrete data or discrete variable, to say. So as long as you are able to count, doesn't matter if at one point you say it can go on till infinity, it is okay, but still you are able to count, right? I mean, you can even if you think that it is going so far, I mean, but still you can map that thing to a number. So as long as you are able to map, if I'm asking you a number of days, and you can map it to like number of days to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can go on, but still you are able to count, right? So as long as you are able to count something, it is called discrete. Okay. So let's move to the next question. I think there is only one question now. Okay. So now we have time series and cross-sectional data. So this is the last topic in the first week. So what is time series data? Time series data is the data that is recorded over a period of time. So for example, temperature in Delhi noted regularly for 50 days. So what you're doing is, let's say today is the first day, and you are collecting, I mean, you are noting down the temperature in Delhi for today. Then again, maybe tomorrow, again, you are going to go and check what is the temperature of Delhi today. I mean, tomorrow, right? Then the third day, again, you're going to check the temperature. So this is a time series data. I mean, you are interested in collecting something, collecting data over a period of specific time. It can be also like monthly, right? It can also be hourly basis. Like let's say you fix a day and you're interested in noting down like at every hour, what is the difference in the I mean, how is the temperature varying after every 1 hour, right? So but this hour, I mean, this period should be fixed. I mean, it shouldn't be like first you're calculating, I mean, first you are taking the data for now, and then you take after 1 hour, and after 1 hour you take after 3 hours, after you take after 4.5 hours. It shouldn't be like that. I mean, it should be like specific. I mean, regularly or after fixed interval of time, you collect your data. Okay. So the data recorded over time, you call it a time series data. And cross-sectional data is something, I mean, at different places, you are collecting the data at the same time. Let's say, for example, here it is given current obesity levels in the population, right? I mean, or let's take this is a little weird, but let's take the first example itself, which says temperature in Delhi noted regularly for 50 days, right? So here we are in the first example, we were interested more in like noting down the temperature for 50 days regularly. But let's say I'm interested in knowing the temperature right now, what is the temperature at each of the states that each of the states in India, right? So this is like at the same time in this case is like right now, what is the temperature in each of the states, or what is the temperature in each of the cities in a state, right? So these are the data that you have observed, that you are observing or collecting at the same time at different places, or in this case. So such kind of data are called cross-sectional data. Okay. So here is the question: which of the following is cross-sectional data? You have three options: a comparison of two or more variables over a long period of time, the collection of data from one than more cases at one moment of time, the data of how spending behavior of middle class people have changed over time. Just think about it. What is the answer for this question? Okay, most of you have answered option 2, and yes, it's the right answer. So as we had said before, cross-section data is something that you collect the data for more than one places or for more than one, for various reasons, but at a specific time, at the same time, you are collecting data from different places. So such kind of data are called cross-sectional data. So that is why option 2 is right. And option 1, which says comparison of 2 or more variables over a long period of time. So that is not right. That comes under time series data. And again, the third option, the data of how spending behavior of middle class people have changed over time. So again, it is a time series data because we are looking at a long period of time and over the time how things have changed, right? So this is again again come under time series data and not cross-section data. I think one more question we have for today. Okay, that was the last question. All right, so that was the last question we had. So I will just stop presenting this. Just give me a minute. Okay, before I stop sharing my screen, I just want to know if any one of you have any doubt in any questions over here. Difference between discrete and continuous data. Okay. Now I can the PDF. So this PDF will be uploaded to you. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen and then I will take the question. Okay. I see a lot of questions in the chat box. Okay, let me take the questions from the chat. Okay, it's quite difficult to look at the chart right now. A lot of questions are there. So let's do one thing. I see some hand raises. So I will go in the order, whoever has asked first. And I will unmute you and you can ask your question. Okay. So I'll go in the order. Let's see whatever we can take. Kushi, Kushi, you can ask your question.
Hello.
Yeah, Kushi.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask the question, what is the difference between the ratio and the interval?
Okay.
Ratio and the interval. Yeah.
So as I said before, in the like if you have the numerical data, right? If you have the numerical data, you can have two kinds of scale of measurement. One is your interval scale, and other is ratio scale. But what is the difference between them? What is the difference that is there? So in interval scale of measurement, you have there is no concept of like absolute zero over there. I mean, okay. So before going to absolute zero, it's like where zero does not make any sense, that will come more under interval scale. But where zero, it's defined like zero means the absolute zero. I mean, when we say zero, it means at that zero there doesn't exist anything in a sense, right? So such kind of such kind comes under the ratio scale of measurement. Like example, the same example we have given for the temperature. Like temperature in 0 degree means that there is some temperature, but temperature in 0 Kelvin means that there is no zero. And when the absolute zero makes sense, in that case you can actually perform all the mathematical operations that are there. I mean, you can perform the addition, you can perform the subtraction. I mean, when I say perform all the mathematical operation, it means, let's say, I had some number, like for example, in the question, I had number of assignments submitted. So if I take that data, that is number of assignments submitted, I can take any two and I can put it into, like I can perform some I can perform the addition, I can perform the subtraction, I can also multiply it, and I can also divide it. I mean, I can compare it basically, right? I can compare it, like how much difference is there, and what is the maximum, what is the average. All that can be done there. You can also compare the number of assignments submitted by two people. I mean, if it is 2 times, so when I say, let's say, let's take 2 students, let's I will take from there, let's take the student 1 as Ishan, student 2 to be Prashant. Okay, so if I'm saying Ishan has submitted 1 assignment and Prashant has submitted 2 assignments, so from there I can say that Prashant has submitted twice the number of assignments as what Ishan has does, right? And why we are able to do it? Because their zero actually makes sense. So all this kind of operations of multiplication, division, all that is possible, but it would not have been possible if there's zero, if these numbers does not make sense. You can add and subtract, but it is difficult to compare it in multiplication or division. So that is the difference you get in interval and ratio scale. Okay, next we have Chinu. You can go ahead, Chinu.
Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am, a couple of questions. First one is, if we have negative scoring in an exam, so makes it from ratio to interval, right? Because there is no absolute zero anymore.
Negative, you have negative marking in the exam, okay?
Yeah, so let's say somebody is getting -5 or something, so there is no
okay, it's a little difficult to say because there is something from where you're starting. I mean, I'm again starting from, let's say, I mean, zero there actually makes sense. The students have received 0 marks. But if I say a student has received, let's say, -2 and somebody has received 2, I can still say, okay, addition is possible, adding marks for 2 students is possible, dividing it is possible, subtracting it is possible. multiplication, somebody has scored 2 and somebody has scored -2. Okay, it's a little hard to comment on that. Let me think about it a little, and maybe on discussion forum, we can answer this question. Is that all right? For the negative marking question. Can I leave? Yeah, all those who have no doubts, you can please leave the session. How to access discussion forum? You should have been added to the discussion forum or discourse if you are. So, okay, I will get back to that question. Like if we can say it is a ratio scale, or if it is just interval scale. Okay, so the next we have Roshan. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I have put my interval scale of measurement.
Yeah.
I have example. One example. If I have a 30 t-shirts.
You have?
I have 30 t-shirts, and which is that 30 t-shirts, and their length is 20 to 25 centimeter.
Okay.
Yes, and this is this in interval scale of measurement?
No, what is your question? I mean, I didn't understand. You're saying you have 30 t-shirts and each of the t-shirt measures 25.
The length of that t-shirt.
Is 25 centimeter. But
yes.
What
and
is
10 t-shirts will. And I want to ask that it is a ratio scale of measurement or interval scale of measurement?
No, but you're just talking about one group. I mean, everything is the same thing. I mean, there is no difference. I mean, how will you talk about the scales of measurement here? You're just giving me one data that is just 25 centimeter. What do I conclude from there?
Let's 1 minute, and I have more, which is 10 t-shirts, and that t-shirt's length is 25 to 30. Then what you can say now? Hello.
Yeah, your question is you have 30 t-shirts and
length of that t-shirt is 20 to 25 centimeters.
Okay. So what you're saying is now I have 20 to 25 cent. Okay, I got your question. So one is 20 to 25 centimeter, and another you are taking is 25 to 30 centimeter, right? I mean, you are basically dividing your length in some interval.
Yes. Yeah. So is it interval scale of measurement?
I mean, if you're talking about intervals, yes, it comes into the interval scale of measurement. Because there you have nothing to, I mean, you are not able to compare it, right? I mean, if you take one interval, you take another interval, I mean, it is not comparable, because now you're not talking about one number there. I mean, any one number, you're talking about interval.
Yes.
So again, there is no such concept of absolute zero. So such kind comes under the interval scale, because you're actually talking about intervals.
Okay, and if I have 20, if I have 30 t-shirts, which that is their length is 20 centimeter.
If you,
Then
yeah,
it is comes into
it depends on how you are framing your question. Okay. So now if I say the heights, okay. So heights in centimeter. So there 0 centimeter actually means that the length is 0, right? If I give you any 1 centimeter, so there is something comparable. I mean, you had fixed, you had, you know that 0 is the least you can go to, right? I mean, you keep on moving, you go to 1, 2, 1.5, 1.25, anything. I mean, there 0 makes sense. That 0 is 0, absolute 0. So that is, if that is how you are framing your question to be, then yes, it comes under the ratio scale.
okay. And ma'am, one more question, that is the JEE exam marks are interval scale of or ratio scale of
What?
is JEE exam marks?
J
JEE exam.
Okay, J
It has
exam.
negative marking.
Yeah, as I said before, like I'm not really sure about the negative marking. I will have to think about a little about this, because there the problem is we don't know how less it can go to, right? I mean, it's difficult to compare. In case if you have an absolute 0, you know that there is something which, you know, this is the least you can go to. This is the least entity. So from there you can compare. But when there is a scope of negative marking, I mean, we don't know how less it can go. Then comparing it is difficult. Either you can bring down your negative to, you will have to do some scaling in the data. Like you will have to shift, like if let's say your data is going from -10 to 100, right? So it is possible that you shift your data. So this is one way to do it. I mean, you shift your data to do +10. So your -10 now becomes 0. And from there, you can now compare. So after shifting, you can say this is ratio scale of measurement, right? But again, this is one way to do it. And once you shift it, then you can say it comes under the ratio scale. It's a little difficult to answer like the exact thing, but this is one way to do it. Like if you're dealing with negative marking, shifting is one way you can go ahead, because that gives you an option to compare. Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I got it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Next we have Naveen. Naveen, you can go ahead and ask it.
Hello.
Sorry, yeah. Can you repeat?
Checking was I audible? Okay.
I'm not able to hear you.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, I was simply asking that whether I was audible. Yeah, so thank you for the session, ma'am. And my question is, if we are comparing multiple variables in a certain time period, then would it be cross-sectional or time series, as it is in a time interval, but what we are comparing is the set of multiple variables. So I'm quite confused what should the answer be.
Okay, when you say set of multiple variables, can you define some variables for me? Like what exactly are you comparing?
Yeah. In the room, we have temperature, humidity, and the time, and any other. I mean, it was a question of
graded assignment.
No, practice assignment.
Practice assignment. Okay.
Practice assignment. Yeah, so that is, I mean, you can take humidity, temperature, and light of room. Any object of the room. They serve as multiple variables, and when we compare them in half an hour, so is it the answer was time period, because we were using period, but I'm quite confused as we are comparing multiple variables as well. Why can't it be cross section?
Yeah, why can't it be cross-sectional? See, what is the difference between the cross-sectional data and the time series data? So cross-sectional data is something that you compare for a different places or different things at the same time, right? So in this case, if it was like if you were just measuring the temperature at a particular time for different places, let's say I'm measuring the temperature or humidity for different localities, let's say, okay, or for, let's say, different rooms. Like this room at this particular time, this is the temperature of the room and humidity of the room. For other rooms, this is the temperature and the humidity. For some other room that I have taken, this is the temperature and the humidity, and I am calculating all of it at one time. Okay, so this will come under the cross-section data. But what you're asking is like you are calculating all these entities, all this temperature, humidity, and so on in a fixed interval of time for a room. I mean, for one place, you are measuring these variables at a different interval of time, right? So after some fixed interval of time, you are measuring this. So it is varying with time, right? So this is like time series data because you are keep doing it for some period of time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And then regarding one suggestion, in the last session, the same question regarding the negative marking was asked, and the sir said that if we are going below zero, then there is no concept of absolute zero, and it came into the interval section. That is how we approach to
Yeah.
the answer.
Yeah, I mean, that is why I said, because that is why I said that if that is the case, then one possibility is that you shift your data. Let's say if the range of marks is from -10 to 100, one way is if I can shift the data, if I add +10 to all the marks, then my whatever the lowest marks was, now it will go to 0. Yeah. But
Then
if
the
I'm not
data set-
doing all the, but if I am not doing all this, then there in that case it is an interval scale. It will come under interval scale because there my 0 is, there is nothing, I cannot bound it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the session.
Yeah, thank you. Kirti, you can go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Kirti.
Ma'am, I have a doubt in interval scale and ratio scale.
Yeah, I think I have already explained it before.
Ma'am, but I have confused the ratio scale. It means I have divide something and have some percentage.
Okay.
And interval scale, and it means range about 0 to 10 and 10 to 20. It means that's like otherwise then hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Now can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. So the only difference here is, Kirti, is like if you can put a bound, I mean put a bound as in like if you can define something which you can treat it as negligible, then you can compare everything, right? I mean you can perform all the operations. But when you take the intervals, I mean if you take intervals, as for example you said intervals are 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, you cannot perform the multiplication, the division, all that is not possible there, right?
In the interval scale, there is not possible to multiply it and
I mean it is not possible for you to compare. I mean you cannot multiply two intervals, or you cannot say that this interval is twice as this interval, because you are taking the interval in a way, like this is the interval the data is falling, right?
And ratio scale we can multiply it, and subtraction and division it also
not possible. Yeah.
Yeah. And one more doubt, ma'am. In one, ma'am, I have a save a question. One. About the cases, ma'am. In a data student enrolled in BSc data student degree at ITTM college, and shown in the given. Then in question, which of the following is cases?
Okay.
It means roll number 157, 298, and 306. It is all our cases.
So you are asking this question from what I had showed before?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So as I said, for whatever you collect the data for, that is the case. So in our example, we were collecting the data for those roll numbers. So that's why we said these are the cases.
And courses column, Python is not cases, because it detail about the roll numbers.
Yeah, I mean, there you are just saying, I mean, for this roll number, this is the student and this is the course that he has taken or she has taken. And this is the number of courses that they have selected, and this is the score marks they have obtained, and so on. So okay, the only thing you should take care is, keep in mind is, whatever you are collecting the data for, or for whatever you're looking the data, that is the cases.
And one more, ma'am, doubt of the discrete and continuous data type.
Okay. See, discrete data is something which you can always count. Okay. So it's not like if I give you a decimal, if I give you a set of values as in, let's say, for example, I'm giving you 5 points. So the first point is 10. The second point is, let's say 5. Third point is 7.5. Fourth is 8.4. Fifth point is 8.33. Okay. Let's say this is the data I have given you. These are 5 points. So,
yes, ma'am.
Can you, if I ask you how many, and these points, let's say, these points represent, okay, whatever, they represent something, okay? But still you are able to count, right? I mean, or let's say, for example, let's take the example of heights, or let's say I'm interested in weights of meteorites falling on the earth, okay? So, and you have collected this data, let's say, for, if you had collected for only, like, let's say 5 meteorites, then you would have just 5 discrete values. But when you collect the data for large values for so many things, then in that case, when you plot this data on a number line to say, okay, when you plot this data, then it is very difficult to, like, it will look very continuous. I mean, you will get a continuous kind of curve. So what we do, when you see
continuous, ma'am, ki discontinuous, 10, 5,
Continuous.
8.4, 8.33.
It will more like continuous, right? I mean, for any, if I fix that, my
It
weight,
is numerical data.
no,
And
what I'm saying is, if I fix that, if I fix that, the weight is between 0 to 100, or let's say 0 to 10,000. Okay, let's take 1 to 10,000, 1 kg to 10,000. Okay. And there are so many data that you have obtained, and weights can fall between any of this interval. So what we do for our simplicity is we break this into different intervals. Okay. And your range, whatever, if I give you any point, it can fall into any of the interval, right? So it's more like a continuum, it forms a continuum. So such kind of data where a large range of values are possible, we call it a continuous data.
Ma'am, for example, I have a some material and its composition, percentage carbon, argon, and helium. That's like in point. So these are continuous or discontinuous data?
You're talking about percentages. Percentage of what did you say? Percentage of
I have a one material and some composition material, argon, helium, neon. It's given in a point form.
Okay,
Then
okay.
it
You are
means
saying
continuous
is
or discontinuous?
so okay, I got your question. So you're saying you have an object and that object has like these composition. I mean, argon is this much percentage, helium is this percentage, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
In the same object. So again, here you're talking about percentages. So again, it can fall between any values, right? I mean, the range of values is quite high. I mean, it can fall if the percentage is between 0 to 100. Again, it can fall in any range.
Yeah.
So again, such kind will come under the continuous.
Of if these are not given in a percentage, it's given in a point, 1.5, 1.6, like that.
No, see, the difference, the discrete is not that. Discrete is whenever you are able to count. Let's say if you are interested in counting something, okay, then that comes under, then that variable you call it discrete variable. Like number of days you spent writing a book, or number of hours you spent today in studying, right? So these are the things you can count, right? I mean, you are interested in just counting something. And this can vary from 1, 2, 3, 4. It can go on. It can go on. We say it can go on till infinity. And infinity is such a big number, but still we can count. What we are saying is we can still count, right?
Yeah.
When you are interested only in counting, then you call it a discrete data. Okay. But when you have some list of values and list of numbers to or to say, and if you know these numbers can fall into any range of a particular value, like for example, your height can fall in any interval, any range. So such kind of data we generally put under continuous. Okay.
And what is difference between ordinal scale and nominal scale?
Okay, so ordinal scale is so both ordinal and nominal scale comes for the discrete data, categorical data. Okay. And what is the difference? The nominal is something for which you are just assigning the label. I mean, it doesn't mean anything to you. I mean, if I'm saying for example the pin code, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
For every places you will have pin code. Even though these pin codes are the numbers, but does this number mean anything? I mean, can you compare these numbers? No, they are just the labels that that has been assigned to a particular place, but they don't mean anything. I mean, it is just a label. So this is called a nominal scale of measurement. Such kind of data falls under the nominal scale of measurement. Okay.
And ordinal scale?
Ordinal is something which even though it is categorical, but still you can you know that there is some order in the data. For example, it's the course grades, right? They're categorical data. Let's say the course grades are S, A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay. You know that these are the grades, and you know one course grade is better than the other course grade. I mean, there is some order,
Yeah, ma'am.
right? Or let's say the sizes. You know, there is an order.
Okay.
Whenever the order makes sense for the categorical data, you put under the ordinal scale of measurement.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Next is Soumyadeep. Okay. Subi, do you have any question? Soumyadeep, do you have any question?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Actually, I was trying to unmute all this. Like,
Okay, okay. Go ahead.
ma'am, there was a question where some people are asked to put ma'am. So some students were asked. So basically, for how many hours they play video games. Okay. So and there were some categories where some were made here. So basically.
Sorry, I lost you. I can't hear. Can anyone hear Soumyadeep? Soumyadeep, I'm not able to hear you if you're speaking.
I'm gonna hear me.
Yes, yes, I can hear you, but it's breaking.
Can you hear me now? Now is it
Yeah.
clear? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So basically, some categories are made here. So basically, so in a week, less than 30 hours or 30 to 45 hours, like that. So which scale is that? Is it interval or ratio scale?
Okay. The question is that there is what is the context for the question?
So amount of time a student below the age of 12 spends on playing video games. So
Okay.
so the categories were less than 30, 30 to 45 hours, 45 to 60, and more than 60 hours.
Okay.
So sorry, minutes, whatever.
Yeah,
Minutes.
again, I say it's an interval. So the data has been given an interval and it comes under the interval scale because all these
I think the answer was going ordinal scale, ma'am. That was the problem.
Oh, the answer is ordinal scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why ordinal?
Because
ma'am, here, ma'am, basically
Okay.
they said it there that if you have an irregular numbering system for categorization, ma'am, for ranking stuff, so then it becomes ordinal. But here there is a regular pattern, right? Like a pattern
What
of
is the pattern? Like what is the intervals that are given? Can you mention specify?
less than 30, 30 to 45, 45 to 60, and more than 60. Acha, हाँ, मने
You don't have a fixed, right?
yes,
When you have less than 35, then you have 40 to 60. I mean, these intervals are not, I mean, the
not
same.
the same size.
Yeah. That is why we are calling it.
Okay, and one more question was, ma'am, that uh, film review is what kind of a scale? Like 1 to 5 it is given. So what kind of a scale is it?
The reviews are given on a scale of 1 to 5.
Yep, ma'am.
Scale of 1 to 5. Okay. Again, you cannot.
He said it is interval scale, but then how is it interval scale?
You see, you can.
Because here we have an absolute zero, right? We have 1 is the absolute zero here.
We have 1 as the. But here there is no zero to say, you know.
But ma'am, the concept is that, right?
No,
Because
I
it is
know that
absolute
is the
zero.
concept. That is true. Okay. Review from 1 to 5.
Yes, ma'am.
But in this case, we cannot like multiply things. I mean, I cannot multiply one rating with other or to compare as in like to
We
say
can,
what is
ma'am, we can multiply, right? We can divide, like a film is getting twice many reviews than any other film, like that.
but that
Isn't
is
it?
number of reviews.
Yeah.
This is a rating we're talking about. I mean, ratings are not the numbers.
Rating, yes.
Ratings are like you're giving ratings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it
Yeah.
was number of people rated, yes, there we can. But for the rating itself, it's, I mean, we cannot say that rating 2 is twice as good as rating 1. See, things like that.
Isn't it,
Rating
ma'am? Isn't it true? Like
can be,
it's a bit confusing here, right?
yeah, we cannot, right? I mean, these are very subjective. I mean, these ratings have been put based on your experiences
Okay.
and so on. So you cannot say that some rating 3 is 1.5 times rating. I mean, rating, sorry, rating 3 is thrice of
That
rating
is
1.
also true,
Yeah.
right, ma'am?
So
Uh,
it is a very subjective thing.
rating 3 isn't 1.5 times better than rating 2, like that.
Yeah, that is what I'm trying to say. So it is not possible.
And ma'am, shouldn't we do descriptive as well as inferential statistics for any meaningful analysis, ma'am? We should do
It
both of
depends on like what kind of problem statement you are interested in.
like,
It all
ma'am, like all the practical things, ma'am, we can't actually divide these analysis on the basis of descriptive and inferential, right? Because we actually do both, right?
yeah, we actually do both. I mean, if you have a data set and you're just interested in finding looking at the charts and tables and like you finding the five data summary, right? So I mean, this is quite I mean, you do all these things, right? They are, so such kind of studies are called descriptive. But there are sometimes, I mean, you have the data but you are interested in inferring something about whatever the population from where data has
Ma'am,
come
like
from.
I was saying, ma'am, basically in those lectures,
Like
it was ma'am, an example was given that that an analysis was done of the Indian team for ma'am, for like a time series data was collected, and the average score that the team made was basically noted. And so after that, which players are to be taken for the later years were analyzed from that. So that's essentially combining both the types of uh, analysis, right? It is descriptive as well as inferential, right? Isn't it?
yeah, I mean, yeah, in a way, yes. I mean, the question was you are interested in looking at how the performance of cricketers based on their past performances. Yeah. But what is it that you are interested in calculating? I mean,
Like which players can be taken for the later years, and like which players can have a consistent performance, like mane, who have had a consistent performance over the years, and so they are reliable players, like they can be
yeah.
taken
So see,
like that.
when you study inferential statistics, so there are various things that comes into picture. Like you have the data and uh, you look at the previous performances, and then there are various things that comes in. You will have confidence interval, you'll have hypothesis testing, you will have various estimators, and all these things you will come across. You will study random variables in great detail, right? So in that case, you're not going to look at each and everything and look at the mean, these numbers. But in fact, in that case, we'll be more interested in samples and then look at like from a wider perspective, whatever your goal
I
is.
can understand, man. Like basically here we are using a sample to magnify the results that can be produced from it. Like
Yeah,
basically we
yeah,
are seeing what can happen. We are predicting.
yeah, yeah. So like if for example, um you have, let's say you have the data for all the previous term students, and on that, on looking at the performances and like various variable you can take, whatever variables you can take. So looking at all these things, the student previous year performances, you study those, and on that basis, you can let's say you want to predict the performance of the future students who are coming in, right? So this is kind of inferential statistics. I mean, you are going to study the previous year students, previous term students, and on that basis, you have various variables, and these are the variables you want to put, and you study it, and on that basis, you infer about the future population, future students. So such kind of studies are come under the inferential.
And
But
ma'am,
when
it is,
let's say,
yes, yes.
yeah, but when let's say some let's say you have to do a presentation of the data set you have. So if you have to just present something, what you're going to do is you take the data and you just plot some pie chart, bar chart, you find the mean, median, all this you see, right?
Yes.
So this is just called the describing the data. But when you want to study it further and make some conclusion,
We actually do both. You know, we firstly we
I mean, you do both,
describe the data, then
but
we
depends
not
on,
infer
yeah,
from it.
depends on all the questions, kind of questions you are asking. So yeah.
And ma'am, usually it is my ma'am, the sample, ma'am, like more randomly we pick up the sample, more better it is, right? Ma'am,
Yeah, right.
better is okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Somadeep.
And ma'am, if ma'am telephone number is changing over a period of time, so that is time series data, right? If you are
Phone
noting that
number is changing. Oh, I mean, I haven't come across. I mean, why do we?
I'm just noting that down, right?
Why do?
Ma'am,
No, why?
maybe someone is ma'am, basically maybe it is an intelligence issue, like ma'am, right? Maybe someone is tracking some guy, some ma'am, some guy.
Maybe,
His
but
eyes or maybe that.
I'm not really sure if we can put
Okay,
this.
okay, ma'am. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right then.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
And ma'am, it was a wonderful class. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Shubhi, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, sorry. Ma'am,
No,
actually, I have two doubts.
Yeah.
Ma'am, the first thing is that, ma'am, you have mentioned that key for the intervals, for the ratio scale, absolute zero should be there. Like, absolute zero makes sense. But ma'am, for the number of assignments, in the table you have mentioned, there was not zero. Like, there was not
Yeah, I
zero,
mean,
and
it's okay. I mean, it need not, I mean, that need not be present in the data, what we're saying. But it is possible that some student might have not submitted any of the assignment. I mean, it is possible, right?
yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, we have to think like that way. Absolute zero can exist or not exist, or we have to look in the tabular form, like table.
No,
Ki, if
you
it
have
is
to think. I mean, you don't have to just look at the data table. I mean, you have to think. You look at the variable and think if it is possible or not.
okay, ma'am. And ma'am, for example, if it is like amount of something, like amount of sweets that we are eating, like, so it will be a ratio only, na? Because if we are eating zero, so it is actually absolute zero here. So it will be a ratio.
I mean, if you are talking about numbers, yes,
Okay,
it
ma'am.
will. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, and let's say in okay, ma'am. In ma'am, weight also has absolute zero, so it will be kg. So it has interval.
Yes.
Ratio, ma'am. So, ma'am, for the ratio, it has two conditions. Like, first, the absolute zero should be there, and the second, the mathematics or arithmetic operations like
All the
addition, subtraction.
arithmetic operation should be possible.
So,
Yeah.
ma'am, can it be possible like absolute zero is there, but mathematics and multiplication and division cannot be performed? So, is it possible?
Yeah. I mean, it is not I mean, can you give me one example?
Ma'am, I don't know. Just I'm
Yeah,
asking.
it is not possible. I mean, it is not possible to not be able to perform such operation.
Okay, ma'am. So ma'am, you mean to say that if absolute zero is there, so there will be
Yeah, you should be
101%
able to.
and
Yeah.
multiplication and division, like
Yeah.
addition and subtraction.
Yeah.
And ma'am, I have also doubt like if there is a table and if it is given that 0 slash 0 to 30, 30 to
Hmm.
40, and 50 to 60 like this.
Hmm.
And it is starting from 0, like 0 to 30, then it's 30 to 40, 40, 50 like this. So it
Hmm.
comes under interval or ratio because it is starting from 0. So I have
Yeah.
like,
Again, it is under ordinal because somebody has already asked this before also. Its interval is not fixed. I mean, first
no,
interval you're
ma'am,
taking as
he was asking for less than 1, like less than 30, more than 30. But I'm asking like if it is mentioned that 0 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, like this manner. So it will be like interval or ratio because it is starting from 0. So I have a query like it can be ratio, it can be like.
but these intervals are not, I mean, not same, right? I mean,
Now let's say if it is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, and 20 to 30, if it's that way.
okay. Then in that case, yes. I mean, you can, uh, it should be under interval scale in that case because
Ma'am, but it is
you should
starting
be,
from 0, so it has
it's,
absolute 0 meaning. So I'm
yeah. I
confused.
mean, you have absolute zero, but it's not comparing intervals is not possible. I mean, you cannot compare two intervals to say. I mean, if let's say if I take interval 0 to 10 and if I take interval or forget 0 to 10, let's take 10 to 20, take 20 to 30, take 10 to 20 and take 20 to 40. Sorry, 20 to 30. Okay. So, I mean, can you compare if interval 10 to 20 is twice the interval or
No,
okay, or let's say 10, 20, 20, 40.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you say that this interval 10, 20 is half of 20, 30? No, right?
No, ma'am, can't say. No, ma'am.
Can't say that, right? So such
Yes,
things are
ma'am.
not possible in interval. So that
Okay,
is why
ma'am.
it comes under interval scale of measurement.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, that one more question, like the number of days assignment is being completed. Let's say one student is completing in 2.5 days. So
Yeah,
it
it's
will
okay.
be,
I mean, as long as you are interested in numbers, okay,
yes,
it is
ma'am,
a discrete.
because you can count it.
You can count it. Yeah.
So, ma'am,
It is
I have a
countable.
question like we can have between values, like some will complete in 3 days, some will complete in like 3.5 days, but it lies the between values. So,
It is okay. I mean, as long as the question asks you to find the number, you have to go with discrete.
okay, ma'am. And ma'am, for the sample to be a good representative, it should be like randomly selected and like it should be from the all the departments. Now, like
I mean, the sample should be a good representation of the population and it should be a subset of the population.
okay, ma'am. And ma'am, the case, as you have mentioned, the case should be unique and it should be like if the question is asking, for example, like there can be more than one case because the values is unique for the two variables. But if it is for the so how we will like choose like which case we have to choose by looking at the question like which it for which it is asking for like that way.
No, I didn't understand the question. Can you repeat?
Sorry, ma'am. I meant to say that if the cases are always unique, so there are conditions when there are two columns and the like for the name, let's say name, the name here has the two things like it is not repeating. Let's say it is not repeating and it has an unique values like Ishan, Mayur, and Ravi. Let's say, and roll numbers are also unique. But we can say that both are cases like name and roll number. So, like, which way we have to think, which is the most appropriate case?
Okay. It will depend on the context of the question. So, if you were collecting the data for the roll numbers, then you will consider the roll numbers as the cases. But if you, let's say you are collecting the data for set of students, then you will go ahead and say that the students are the cases.
Okay, ma'am. So, in a question, there can be two like that way, but we have to look for the questions. What it is
What the
asking for.
question? Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next is Moksh.
हेलो मैम।
Yeah, hello.
मैम मेरा डाउट मैम डिस्क्रिप्टिव और इन्फेरेंशियल क्वेश्चन में था।
Okay, अभी क्लियर हो गया?
मैम वो क्वेश्चन वाला
क्वेश्चन 1 में, ठीक है। तो क्वेश्चन 1 में हमारा क्वेश्चन था कि हम इंटरेस्टेड हैं ये पता करने में कि दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में जिन भी लोगों ने एडमिशन लिया है अभी, और जो भी फर्स्ट ईयर में है, उनके क्या मार्क्स रहे थे उनके हाई स्कूल में, मतलब 12th मोस्ट प्रोबेबली वेरी इंटरेस्टेड इन लाइक उनके 12th क्लास में क्या मार्क्स आए थे, ठीक है। तो हमारा ये गोल था, हम ये सर्वे करना चाहते हैं कि फर्स्ट ईयर दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में जिन भी स्टूडेंट्स ने एडमिशन लिया है उनका क्या एवरेज स्कोर रहा है। तो ये पॉसिबल नहीं है हमारे पास कि हम जितने भी स्टूडेंट्स हैं उन सब लाइक अगर कोई सर्वे कर रहा है तो उसके लिए पॉसिबल नहीं है कि वो सारे स्टूडेंट्स के पास जाए और वो डेटा कलेक्ट करे, राइट। ये पॉसिबल नहीं है, बहुत मुश्किल है। मे बी कुछ स्टूडेंट्स रह जाए, कुछ स्टूडेंट पॉसिबल नहीं होगा। तो हम क्या करते हैं कि हम एक सैंपल लेते हैं। सैंपल इस तरह से लेते हैं कि वो सैंपल पॉपुलेशन का सबसेट हो, ठीक है, और वो सैंपल पॉपुलेशन के सबसेट होने के अलावा सैंपल पॉपुलेशन को रिप्रेजेंट भी करे। तो अगर इस एग्जाम्पल में मेरा पॉपुलेशन ये है कि मुझे जानना है कि फर्स्ट ईयर स्टूडेंट्स के क्या मार्क्स रहे थे 12th क्लास में, राइट, तो ये पॉपुलेशन है। तो मुझे सैंपल इस तरह से लेना है कि वो सैंपल पॉपुलेशन को रिप्रेजेंट करे, मतलब वो फर्स्ट ईयर स्टूडेंट्स जो DU के हैं, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के हैं, उनको रिप्रेजेंट करे, ठीक है। तो हम ये नहीं कर सकते कि हम सैंपल किसी एक कॉलेज में चले गए और किसी एक डिपार्टमेंट से जाके हमने फर्स्ट ईयर के जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनका डेटा ले लिया, वो एक गलत सैंपल होगा। क्यों? क्योंकि हम बस एक ही डिपार्टमेंट में हमने चेक किया, पर दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में बहुत सारे कॉलेजेस है, बहुत सारे डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं, तो ये अच्छा सैंपल नहीं है। इवन दो ये एक सबसेट है पॉपुलेशन का, मेरे पॉपुलेशन का, पर ये एक अच्छा सैंपल नहीं होगा। तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं कि हम रैंडमली हम हर एक डिपार्टमेंट में जा रहे हैं और हर एक डिपार्टमेंट जाके कुछ लोगों को सेलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। तो इस तरह से हम हर एक डिपार्टमेंट जाके फर्स्ट ईयर स्टूडेंट्स को सेलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, राइट। तो इससे क्या हो रहा है कि हम हर एक जगह से थोड़े थोड़े सैंपल्स उठा रहे हैं, तो ये पूरे पॉपुलेशन को प्रॉपर्ली रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है। तो हर एक डिपार्टमेंट से हम स्टूडेंट्स को ले रहे हैं, तो यहाँ पे सैंपल एक अच्छा रिप्रेजेंटेशन भी है और ये सैंपल सबसेट पॉपुलेशन का। समझ आया? Is it clear? You are on mute if you're speaking, Moksha. Can't hear you. Hello? Okay, let's move forward. Arpit, you have any question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I have a question regarding the rating in activity 1.4.
Okay.
Ma'am, the question says, Catherine has recently read a book and she decided to rate this book on the website. There she asked to rate the book on a scale of 1 to 5. What kind of scale of measurement is being used here for rating? Ordinal, interval, ratio scale, or both interval ratio, both interval, ordinal?
What answer is being given here? Interval, right?
Yes, ma'am, interval.
So before this, I was explaining, somebody has also already asked this question, right? Rating from 1 to 5. Our rating from 1 to 5, why is it interval? So there I had said already, like if you cannot compare two ratings. I mean, you cannot say that your rating rating 3 is 3 times better than rating 1, right? Because these numbers, I mean, there is no, I mean, you cannot put a comparable unit there, right? Because rating is very subjective. It is not possible to perform your, it is not possible to compare in numerical way. Here, there is no absolute 0. Right? Is it okay, Arpit? Okay, yeah.
Ma'am, I have, ma'am, clear, ma'am. Ma'am, we say that the temperature in Kelvin it has absolute 0.
Okay.
So, ma'am, let's say we have a temperature 300 Kelvin and another as 600 Kelvin. So, can we say that the temperature 600 Kelvin is double of 300 Kelvin, unlike degree Celsius?
Yeah, we can. We can say that.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. And along with this, ma'am, there was a question practice assignment 1.2. Ma'am, there were categories on the basis of income, like we have EWS categories, and we have various benchmarks for the incomes, poor, middle class, and rich.
Okay.
And ma'am, hence it was asked in the question that what is the scale of measurement of the variable income in the given set? I marked it interval, but it says ordinal. And for poor, it was income less than 4 lakh, and for middle class, income greater than 4 lakh, less than or equals to 8 lakh, and for rich, greater than it.
The question was what?
And the question says, what is the scale of measurement of the variable income in the given data set? And the accepted answer is ordinal.
Yeah, it is ordinal, no? I mean, the data set is, I mean, you are categorizing the group of people on the basis of the intervals that are given. So we are saying less than 4. I am putting in poor. Between this interval, I'm putting in middle class, and greater than this, I'm putting in rich, right? But they are for, I mean, you cannot perform any mathematical operation there.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So these are just the categories.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, Moksha, you can go ahead.
Yes, मैम मेरा एक डाउट होता है.
हाँ, ठीक है.
मैम वो क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 में मैम स्टडी जो है इन्फ्रेंशियल क्यों है मैम, डिस्क्रिप्टिव क्यों नहीं?
हाँ, वो इन्फ्रेंशियल इसलिए है क्योंकि हम ये स्टडी कर रहे हैं कि क्या स्कोर होगा, एवरेज स्कोर होगा, ठीक है. तो उसके लिए हम एक सैंपल ले रहे हैं और उनको स्टडी करेंगे, और उस सैंपल को स्टडी करने के बाद हम चेक करेंगे कि ये हमारा स्कोर हो सकता है, ठीक है. तो इसलिए हम कह रहे हैं कि ये इन्फ्रेंशियल है.
मैम क्वेश्चन में तो लेके मैम इंटेंड लिखा है मैम, प्रेडिक्ट तो लिखा नहीं.
क्या
मैम क्वेश्चन में मैम इंटेंड लिखा है.
इंटेंड
मैम प्रेडिक्ट तो है नहीं, कहीं हम करेंगे ही करेंगे.
नहीं समझ नहीं आया मुझे.
मैम क्वेश्चन में मैम इंटेंड लिखा है.
इंटेंड, INTEND.
यस मैम.
कौन से क्वेश्चन में लिखा है?
मैम क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 में.
एक मिनट. हाँ, मतलब इंटेंस का मतलब, ठीक है, हम ये कह रहे हैं कि हमें एवरेज स्कोर जानना है, ये हमारा पर्पस है सर्वे का. तो इसलिए हम एक सैंपल ले रहे हैं, क्योंकि हम पूरा पॉपुलेशन का डेटा नहीं ले सकते, ठीक है. अब हम एक सैंपल ले रहे हैं और हम उस सैंपल को स्टडी करेंगे और उसके बाद हम उस सैंपल से कुछ इन्फर करेंगे। इन्फर करेंगे मतलब सैंपल के बारे, पॉपुलेशन के सैंपल को स्टडी करके पॉपुलेशन का क्या एवरेज स्कोर है हम वो पता करेंगे। इस ये मतलब होता है, तो इसलिए वो इन्फरेंशियल है।
थैंक यू।
Okay. All right. Next is Tarun. You can go ahead.
Excellent, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you for cooperation, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you.
Actually, mine was a technical problem, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm a student already qualified for the foundation level of the course, and
Okay.
I've completed the course registration also. But
Okay.
I am not able to access the weekly contents of the exam, ma'am. I mean, the weekly contents and as well as the weekly assignments also, because when I log in and click the my current course tab, it's just blank. I'm not getting the subjects which I'm chosen, or nothing else is visible. It's just blank.
Okay. I think
I have,
somebody else has also pointed this out in the starting, before we started the session. Was that you only or somebody else?
yeah,
Because-
ma'am, I asked for if it could be so sorted out or not.
Okay. All right.
I've
Maybe.
also I've
So
also
you are saying
mailed to the technical team, ma'am.
you are
They
saying
were like,
you have already qualified. You are qualified for enrolling in the foundation course, and you
yes,
have
ma'am.
registered for Stats 1 course, and you are not able to see anything on the portal.
I'm not registered for stats, ma'am, but it's maths and English.
Maths. So you're not able to see anything for maths and English.
No, ma'am. Not even the main tab for maths and English, the separate tabs.
Okay. Okay. So do you have any discourse or discussion forum for that?
No, ma'am. I'm not able to log in through that also, using the student mail ID and password.
Okay. Okay. We can. I will raise this issue. You can tell me. So you have already given the roll number to me, right? In the chart. Can you put
no,
it?
ma'am.
Can you put your roll number in the chart?
Roll number is what? Like what, ma'am?
You have received your roll number because you are saying you're already a student.
Not roll number, ma'am. I have received my student email ID and password. That's it.
Sorry. Student email ID. I mean, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, please put it in the chat box. If let's see if more people are facing this issue, we can raise this. And
Give me a second, ma'am.
yeah. Okay, it's already 8:34, so I will not take. Please do not raise more hands. Otherwise, this will keep on going. Okay, I will take your roll number from here. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, what about the weekly assignment, ma'am? Tomorrow is the last day, and I have not got
Yeah,
any response.
I will check. I will check.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next is Shehbaz.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to ask a doubt from the assignment that the stock price is a continuous variable or a discrete?
What?
Ma'am, stock price of any company.
Stock price. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Stock price. I mean, it can vary. No, I mean it. You can put it in various ranges, so it will come under the continuous. You are not interested in counting anything. You are talking about numerical values which can be put in various intervals, and its values can lie in any range. It will come under
Remember, the
continuous.
interval is can be very big also. Means stock price can vary by very large intervals.
I mean, it's okay, but you're interested in the values, and these values can be put in various ranges. I'm saying, I mean, if I take any range, and if that value can lie in any range, to say, so that is why this is a continuous. It will come under continuous data, because you are not interested in. Whenever the question comes for you to check whether it is discrete or continuous, always ask, can you count this? If yes, then it is discrete. But if it doesn't ask you to count anything, but if it's asking something numerical and to identify what kind of values are these, then, and if you can put those values in a range, then it comes under the continuous. Yeah. Do you have any other question? Do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next is Sumit. Sumit, you can go ahead if you have any question. Okay. Sensugan, you can go ahead if you have any question.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. Myself, the student. Can I ask my question?
Yeah, you can ask a question.
Yes, ma'am. In the practice assignment 1.1, it told that which of the mathematical operations can be performed on interval variables, and the answer was used to be. I thought it was used to be addition and subtraction, but it also includes many other things. Does it include really, or do you have to do some case study on that?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Ma'am, if you see the practice as in 1.1 third question, which of the following operations can be done on the interval variables? It is showing that addition subtraction would be the right answer, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
But I have a doubt that if multiplication can also be included on interval variables.
No, it cannot be, right? I mean, there is no absolute zero there. So how can you compare? I mean, how can you multiply and divide?
So when do we have the absolute zero that could not be valid? Am I right now, ma'am?
When there is no absolute zero, you cannot perform multiplication and subtraction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes. And inferential statistics is about drawing solutions, right, ma'am?
Drawing inferences about your population.
So
drawing conclusions from data.
So from descriptive statistics, you'll get the inferential statistics. Can we come across like that, or we should have something like that?
I mean, descriptive statistics is more like when you're just describing your data.
Yes, ma'am.
But when you want something more from the data, you want to study your data and want to make some inference about, let's say, the future population or anything. Whenever the question is you want to draw conclusions or make inferences, then it comes under inferential statistics.
Okay, so when we collect data and we describe about it, it's descriptive, and we get inference from that, it's known as inferential. Now I'm right, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, again, see your hand is please, it's already 8:40. Tarun, that's the last question I'm taking. So you can ask it out. So this is the last question.
No further questions, ma'am. But how can I contact you, ma'am? Like for these course related problems.
Okay. How can you contact me? You are not on discussion forum.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, so you don't have to actually contact me. I will, you have already given your roll number, and
Yeah.
I will raise this issue, and if they will, the team will look into it, and they will definitely sort this out.
Okay, ma'am. Just the
Because it's
ID is email ID is enough, or even the password is required, or what?
no, even email ID is enough.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. All right then. Thank you all for the session. Thank you for joining. We'll meet again in the next session. Okay. Bye all. Have a good day.